Welcome to the Nerdist Podcast number 11. All right, so this is a lot of fun. I was in New York a month ago doing stand-up at Comics, and what's great about going to New York is that I get to see comics that I love that I don't ever get to see the rest of the year because they live there and I live in LA. So this is a twofer. I crammed in two comics into one podcast right before one of the shows. So the first one will be Eugene Mirman, who was amazing, and then after that, God's Pottery, who opened for me for the entire week. So you will hear a very subtle transition in between the two, and you'll get a twofer. So enjoy Eugene Mirman and God's Pottery. Also want to say that May 11th in Los Angeles will be the second Nerdist Podcast Live. It's going to be an all-musical show with Paul and Storm and Mike Furman, who's half a Hard and Firm, and then also Tom Lennon of Reno 911, and a special guest who I can't mention, but is mega awesome. So you can get details for that at Nerdist.com. So enough of my blabbing, and here's Nerdist Podcast number 11 with Eugene Mirman, and then subsequently, God's Pottery.
Now entering Nerdist.com.
Let's do it. So we're starting the... Probably get to the bathroom there.
Make sure you get a sound in the bathroom.
Matt Myra has just arrived. Matt Myra might have a harrowing tale of journeying.
I'm just going to Queens accidentally because I have my headphones on. And...
Does anyone go there on purpose? I don't even know the city. I'm just making a regional joke.
We're recording and eating?
Yeah, we just came in.
Yeah.
We're in the green room at Comics doing a show tonight, and one of the guest sets is Eugene Mirman, who I've been friends with for many years, and I adore, and you're one of my favorite comedians, Eugene Mirman. And
Thank you.
I have your...
Chris Hardwick.
I listened to your CD. I listened to your... Not even a CD, your Digibum, your digital offering.
Yeah.
And it was fantastic. Fucking
Thank
fantastic. You. So, are you getting ready for something that you're doing a drop-in spot?
I'm just making a tape, like a 5-minute tape to like you used to send to Kimmel, and then whoever else puts comics on television. But I think that's just Kimmel.
It's not a lot. Hey Matt, do you want to plug the headphones in just to make sure the mic sounds okay? Yeah, it's not. There are those great days when every show comics could do the rounds on any show, and then now it just sort of feels like. There's not really a lot of comedy on the late night shows anymore. Like, you see it maybe once a week, occasionally, right. But it's certainly not what it was.
Yeah, but luckily there's channels devoted to it entirely. So everything's fine.
Really just the one.
Yes. Well, USA.
CMT, right?
USA. Yeah.
TBS. We know funny.
They do know funny?
I think... Is that what they know?
That's what they claim to know.
I thought they claimed to be very funny. I didn't know they actually...
I think for a while
they were doing it.
I think for a while part of it was, hey, we're a comedy telethon and we're calling up, and someone would be like, my dog just shit on my cake. Is that funny? And they'd be like, hang on, yep, that's funny.
And TNT did have that drama. Weird thing. Yeah. TNT knows drama. USA welcomes characters.
No wait, USA characters welcome.
Characters welcome.
Yeah.
So, especially minorities.
Yep. Any kind of crazy character.
Yeah.
To the television industry, minorities are by default characters.
They are goofballs. In the television industry.
In the television world. We're not saying that as part of our credo.
No.
But we're saying as far as TV is concerned.
We don't make TV, we just watch it.
We just consume it. We just consume racist television. Some people consume racist television. We frown at it, but consume it at the same time. I would have thought I feel like you have a great following. People know who you are. I'm surprised that they make you send in a tape anymore. They're not just.
Well, I've never done the show.
Oh, really?
I mean, I don't know. No one. It's not like my hand is being forced. I'd like to do a thing, and I'm making a tape and sending it. Like, it's not. It's not like, how dare you?
Right.
I wrote jokes in my head, and I'll show you them when they're airing.
Are you finding it hard to whittle down a 5-minute set?
I don't know. We'll find out tonight. I mean, I think that I have a lot of stuff that involves like little pieces of paper and stuff, and I have some stuff that's just me talking. So I don't know if shows will put on someone being like, I brought these weird pieces of paper, but maybe.
Well, if you're submitting to Kimmel, he likes. I mean, we did Hard and Firm. We did a couple Hard and Firm sets on Kimmel, and he's had on people like Eddie Pepitone and Todd Glass, and he's let them do experimental stuff. The only problem, the thing that you can face with the Kimmel audience is that the immediate studio audience, and I apologize to anyone who's listened to this podcast who's been in the Kimmel studio audience, there's a lot of mouth breathers. Like they kind of wander in off Hollywood Boulevard, right across from Hollywood and Highland, which is a big touristy complex, and where all those people dress up in superhero outfits and take pictures of people.
Yeah.
And they get into the studio, and it's just there's lights and a band and famous people, and they just don't know where to focus. Like, it can be a little hard to focus that crowd. I mean, the first time we went on, we played our American Dinosaur song, and I think people cheered more every time they heard the word America than actually
dinosaurs.
That we were talking about dinosaurs. And then the second time, we did our Spanish heart song, El Corazon, and they were just sort of like,
well, I mostly look forward to trying to kill in front of homeless people and tourists.
Yep. If you can get that crowd,
you get the right spot.
Then I can appeal to all of America.
Homeless word of mouth is where it starts, and there's a trickle down effect because
they catch the rails and they spread it throughout the country.
That's right. I mean, I find any crazy thing that you hear a homeless person say to themselves, they're just redoing a bit that they liked. So
exactly.
That's actually what you got to keep in mind.
That's how you know you've succeeded.
Yep.
When homeless people mumble the things you noticed about a mall.
Crazy pigeons fucked my eye holes. Oh, I think that was a Patton Oswalt bit. Oh, thank you, homeless guy.
I would love it if that's where it turned out he got all his tags. Patton sits in the park writing shit down, being like, perfect, that's how it describes sex.
All right, I have an NPR chunk now. But I've often been envious of the New York comedians because you guys can actually go up multiple times a night for an audiences of people, and
Right.
Like, if you go up more than a couple times a week in LA, I feel like it's a goddamn victory.
Really? Is it that hard? Can't you just keep going before sketch troops at UCB?
There are rooms, but they don't,
They don't have an audience?
No.
Or they have an audience, but they're all...
It's just not,
actors?
Just scattered and desolate.
It's hard to travel around.
LA, you have to know where you have to go up places on purpose. You don't just stumble into places like in New York, so it's a little bit more of a challenge. So when you come out here and you get to perform a couple shows in a night, and you're like, oh, right, it can be this way.
Right.
So,
well, you're all invited to move here.
Yay! I'm sure the other comics will love that.
Yeah.
Especially, you get down to the Comedy Cellar, and which I've never performed at the Comedy Cellar.
I actually never have either. And
the one time I was going to ask, one of the regular Comedy Cellar performers was like, don't even fucking try. It's like a closed community here. Just kind of chest butting, but conversationally. And I was like, that's not really the vibe that I want to, You come to a place like Comics where we're at now, and it's just a really nice vibe. Like, the room is gorgeous, and the food is good, and the people seem nice, and...
Right, though I've heard that, and the stuff I've seen at the Cellar, that it's one of... I don't know, that it's, I guess, pleasant is the wrong word to describe it. But where it's like a good, like, I've seen people try really weird stuff there. Mm-hmm. I mean, I know that it's sort of cliquey and clubby and stuff, but in terms of, but you have a chance of genuinely seeing something good, while probably at, like, another comedy club, you would see only terrible stuff. Like, meaning of that kind of thing where they put on, like, 8-10 comics in a night, that sort of,
right. Well, that's LA comedy. You can't do, you really can't do more than 15. Like, 15 is really kind of pushing it.
Right.
That's when you're an asshole.
Yeah.
Oh, man, the Matt did fucking 15 minutes.
You believe that?
I didn't see the light.
But how have you? How's your following? I mean, like
they're so powerful.
I feel like there are Mirmanites all over the place. Like, when I travel other places, when I go to other towns, and people will come up and they'll talk to me about other comics they like, and your name always comes up.
They exist. I think they can hide. I mean, for me, often, I'll come to a town to do a show, and then I'll run into people who are like, I didn't know you were doing a show in town. So that's always my problem, figuring out how to let the people who would have wanted to know.
How do you feel? Are you using social networking tools?
Oh my god, I sure am. I mean, and I keep texting people. I'll come to a city and I'll text all the numbers that I see all over the place. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I use them.
You do primarily rock clubs too, right?
Yeah, I mean, people come out. I mean, what I mean to say is...
No one sees you ever.
I perform to no one all over this great country.
Why do you...
And then when I walk out of the club, everyone's like, what are you doing in our city?
Yeah. I'm doing comedy. Oh, we'll do it now for free.
Yes.
No.
And you point
No, I have a sweet following. I have no idea. I love social media. I mean, I do like Twitter and stuff.
What you were touring? Were you opening for Hodgman for a while?
No.
Were you performing with Hodgman?
I've certainly done a
performing
bunch.
with the Concords. I mean, like there was.
I toured with Concords.
That's
yeah.
what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. I did that in the Midwest. Then I did the LA show, but that was super fun. Those shows were great.
Oh, I'll bet.
Yeah.
Better than cake?
For comedy, yeah. I mean, better than touring in general. Though I tour with bands.
Cake the band or cake the food?
Band.
You opened up for just an awesome looking
For a
cake.
really delicious and like suckling pig. It was just
Guys,
like a buffet.
I'm gonna get to your headline the entree in a second, but
Yeah.
before I do,
I would love to tour opening for delicious foods.
I loved when I still worked at MTV and used to drink heavily. I got obnoxiously drunk with John McCrae from Cake a couple times, and super cool.
Yeah, he's a great guy. I mean, when I go to San Francisco, I see him still. I toured with him a few years ago, but yeah, he's a great guy.
How did their fans take you?
It was Cake, Tegan and Sarah, and Gogol Bordello, and then me emceeing. And the way it would work is I could go up at the very beginning and do whatever, and then and then Tegan and Sarah would play, and then I could do like less before them. And then when it was time to go on before Cake, people were just chanting Cake.
Right.
So it was sort of impossible. Like, John was like, oh, you should do something before us. And then, like, you'd walk out, and I'd be like, how is it this? And then, Cake. And I'd be like, all right, I'm going to just introduce Cake, because it's pointless.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, there's people who are listening, and there's people who aren't listening, and then there's people who are chanting a word.
Right.
And once they're at the chanting a word stage, it's too far gone to talk about noticing things.
Yeah, I heard Bobcat Goldthwait tell a story about opening up for Nirvana, where he said it was like the most miserable thing. He'd go up, he'd try and say stuff, people would just yell and throw shit at him.
Yeah.
And like nail him pretty hard, and then like he'd like try and say jokes, and he'd look on the side, and like Kurt Cobain would be cracking up. And he would get off. He's like, I'm sorry, man. I really bummed you. And Kurt would be like, no, it's perfect. It's exactly why I wanted you here.
Right. I mean, it was
to throw shit.
the stuff I've done with bands has generally been pretty. Like Modest Mouse, I toured with them.
Oh,
and
how was
worked out.
that? That was good.
Yeah, I mean, it was in smaller clubs in Florida, maybe like 5-6 years ago. But other than 2 shows, which were slightly terrible, everything actually was pretty good. But you really you can only do a certain amount, unless I guess you're maybe very famous potentially, but still,
right?
Even that, really, there's only so much that people who came to see music are willing to hear someone talk.
It's a different kind of paying attention, It's it's like when you're seeing a band, you'll pay attention, but you can still talk to your friend every once in a while the band's playing. But it's and that's the kind of attitude you take going to the show. But then when there's comedy, it's and you got to be quiet.
Or you have to be very captivating as a comic for a brief amount of time.
Well, and it's interesting to see who has cool fans and who has just kind of aggressive, shitty fans. I have some friends who opened for Tenacious D,
right?
And they said it was super rough,
right?
Because
Neil Hamburger did,
amongst
others,
and I guess it was just. They only wanted to see Tenacious D, and there was they did not want to be bothered with anyone else, even though you would think, oh, Tenacious D, fart. They have fart fans. They have the fartest fans.
You would think that farty fans would really like stand-up comedy. I mean, I try to do that. I mean, though I still tour theaters and music places a lot more than comedy clubs. In fact, Comics is one of the few clubs that I sort of do regularly. you know, I don't do it as much with bands. I mostly do it with other comics, like Comedians of Comedy, or like, you know, I toured with Showalter a lot.
Oh yeah, you
Various other
did the cool drop-ins for Comedians of Comedy. What were those tours like?
Those were really fun. I mean, music venues in general are sort of more fun than comedy club venues, because everyone coming to see you there is coming on purpose. Like, nobody goes like, I wonder what the comedy is at this music club, unless you know it's there.
Yeah.
Right.
So you end up getting people who are genuinely very into comedy, into a specific style of comedy. You know, I mean, that's, you know, the problem sometimes with comedy clubs, where they are, you know, trying to appeal to a lowest common denominator.
Not Comics New York, of course, which is creme de la creme.
Right.
But
I've already said that comics is pretty good. I think we know that.
we've given enough.
I've even said the Cellar is pleasant, but have I said New York Comedy Club is good? I don't think I have done that.
No.
It's interfering.
Oh, it is a little bit?
No.
I should have gone into let me go into airplane mode.
No, it's not.
I have a phone in my pocket, and my leg is made of radio waves. Is that interfering?
It's awkward.
Did you hear that from a homeless person? Are you still
Yeah, I'm still.
What was I going to ask? I had a great point that I really wanted to launch into about your touring, or fuck it, we can talk about something else. But you were great on the John Oliver show.
That was really fun.
It's very. I don't think people realize it is very difficult to shoot comedy and have it come off well. It's a very difficult thing to capture, and they did such an amazing job.
They did actually a good job, and it's funny, they like edited and switched things around a little bit, but they actually did a great job. My greatest fear with the like half-hour special was, because sometimes they'll cut it at random, or like sometimes they'll be like, okay, we'll keep this and then remove a tag or setup or whatever.
Yeah,
and they didn't do that at all. And with John Oliver's also, like, it was great. But it is very hard. You're always nervous. They'll certainly show people laughing, but the people at home will be like, why are they laughing? This didn't make sense.
Well, what's funny is what I noticed on a lot of comedy specials, and this was not the case for John Oliver, but they'll cut to an audience member who is expressionless. And I
Right.
feel like, why would you do that? I mean, I'm sure they needed an edit point, but to just cut to a... You couldn't get some B-roll of some fucking guy laughing and then cut to that?
There was in my Live at Gotham appearance, they cut to a guy that was laughing, and I'm not saying that it wasn't funny, but he was laughing too hard at what I just said, and I didn't believe it.
Well, it's probably because they use random... It's not like... They use random laughs, like they take a laugh from a killer joke to put on your...
From another comedy
They'll
special.
tell you, like, act like it's going well regardless, because we can always sweeten it.
Right.
You know, and they'll also say, like, oh, you can redo a joke, but the truth is, the idea of coming back out to, like, say a joke you already told again...
Right.
It's... Nothing could feel more false. It already is false to pretend you're having a one-way conversation that's all funny.
Yeah.
Right.
Let alone to do it twice in a row.
Yeah.
When we
Matt
did
Bronger, his power went out during his Live at Gotham appearance, and then so he had to restart his set because it glitched, like whatever he had already taped, and then it happened again.
That's how off the hook he is. He fucking...
Just blows everything.
Weirdly, that didn't happen to Sinbad when he taped his outside in the wind.
When we did the Hard and Firm half hour, the other comic who was shooting his half hour at the same time, he went short, and so they made him come out and do like another 8 minutes.
Oh my god,
He only did like 20. He only did like 22 minutes.
Oh, the actual amount.
Yeah,
that
he
is
did like
special.
22 minutes, and they're like, you got to go back out and do like 8 more minutes. So we had to come back out.
Did he have like he had 8 more minutes of stuff he wanted to do?
Yeah, I think he just kind of wrapped. I don't know if he was nervous. I don't know what happened. He just wrapped it up early to the point where he was like, all right, thank you, good night. And everyone was like, what the fuck is he?
What?
Why
Right.
is he not still telling jokes out there? Because they're very thorough. Like, they make sure you have the time, and you have to, to sit down with lawyers and go over your set and actually say to a panel of adults.
I had an awesome. Or go on.
Is this like you saying something filthy and you have to say it very seriously to like a bunch of adults, where you go, can I say gayer than cum on a mustache? And then you have a lawyer say, yes, we'll probably bleep out cum, but it's very factual.
I had this thing where I had a line, and it was ready your brain mouth for my mind penis, and they were like, how many words are between mouth and penis?
Wow.
And then they called, there were 10, 12 people in front of me, and they called someone higher up to go like, or a lawyer or whoever it was, but literally like they couldn't decide, and they're like, we have to take this to the next level, and called someone, and they were like, we'll have to beep penis. So now as a result in my special, it seems actually like I said cock and not
Way
penis
worse.
because. Yeah. Why would you? Because at home you'd be like, well, it's not like you'd ever beep the word penis. You must be beeping something much worse.
Yeah, they told me I had the word glory hole in my set on Comedy Central, and they said, well, we're going to have to beep out glory. I said, well, that means everyone will think I've said asshole, and it won't make sense. It'll be a completely different joke. And so I said, well, can I say hole of glory? And they're like, yeah, that's fine.
So it's so weird. You know, standards and practices, there's no like hard and fast rules.
No.
And technically, cable does not fall under the same rules of the network FCC. They just do it willingly for their advertisers. But it's funny that it really just depends on the mood. You know, like on Web Soup, I will go in and have these very serious discussions with the standards and practices people. Like, can I say tight pussy hole if there's a picture of a cat squeezing through a dog door? And they're like, well, same with you, Joe. If you space out pussy and hole, you know, and it's just these insane.
And you mean space out with other words, or you mean pause and go like pussy hole? Like, you mean that? Because
don't go up on the last syllable. You can't. That's too rapey. It sounds rapey to say it that way.
I do like that there will be intonation, like that's part of it.
Don't smile and show your teeth when you say it. But I think it's funny that someone will go home at the end of their workday and be like, yeah, I fielded a lot of dick calls today for my television job.
That actually is the idea that all day long people are like calling you and being like, okay, can I say I'm going to shit in your mouth? No? Okay, well, can I, what if I said, I'm going to shit near your mouth? Like on your...
Near.
Just give up. No, we got to work on
It's not the preposition or the location that we're worried about.
It's not, it's where.
It's exactly. It's mouth shitting gay. Okay, so I can shit on someone's knee. Yeah, that's not a thing people normally do. Yeah. So you can do an effective amount of knee shitting. Do your parents are Russian?
Yeah, we all are. I mean, not all of us like you guys, but meaning me and my parents. That's not how it works.
God, Russians think everyone's Russian.
Yeah. The second you are born Russian,
all of us are together in this journey.
It's like radioactivity, where just me being in an area.
Am I 30% more Russian?
Yeah.
If someone came in with a Geiger counter?
Irradiated you with my
and you'd see the needle go up and you'd hear
leftover Chernobyl radiation.
Exactly.
Do your parents understand? I don't know. I mean, I've never heard you talk about your parents. Do they understand what you do? Do they get your humor? Do they?
Yeah. I mean, they don't.
How Russian are they?
They're so Russian.
Because you were born in Russia.
Yeah, I was, and then came here with just a bunch of blinis and
and a dream in your heart.
A dream, some caviar and a dream. Yeah, they understand it. I mean, you know, they. I mean, we've been here for like 30-something years, and by 30-something, I think I mean exactly 30.
Oh.
But you know, so. It's not like they watch tons of comedy, like stand-up, but they speak English and get it. And
do you speak Russian?
Yeah, I do. I speak Russian to them.
Have you ever performed in Russia?
No, but one thing I'd like to do, in case anyone wealthy is listening, is do a documentary of going back to Russia for the first time.
Well, I hear that in Russia, comedy performs you. Is that true?
I think performs is a strong word, but yeah, it's definitely a threat.
I'm interested to hear about this. So what are the sort of social dynamics for comedy
in Russia?
Yeah.
You know, I've watched some Russian stand-up on TV, or not on TV, on the internet.
Right.
And it's funny. It's like, well, in a sense, because it's not like they've had stand-up like we did for as long. So some of it is, you know, one-man showy. Some of it is just, I guess, the sketch, like sort of sketchy or weird. Like some of it is crazy, and then some of it is very like hokey, where, you know, we're just like, it's people inventing stand-up as they're doing it. One of the funniest things, though, I saw was someone doing what essentially was pretty normalish stand-up, and then it was like there on TV, and I saw it on the internet. But they kept cutting to the wings where there were people in weird costumes watching and laughing. And you know the way that here you cut to the audience. In this, they periodically cut to the wings, but people would change, so you'd all of a sudden see like a guy in a bunny suit laughing, and then they'd cut away, and then they'd cut to someone with like a monocle in a tuxedo, and these people were just hanging out. It wasn't meant to be funny. It wasn't part of the joke.
Right.
It was just like they were showing like people hanging out and like the performers watch each other. Like it was that tone.
Wow.
But as a result, it was so funny because they would also show the regular audience and show the stand-up. But I don't really know. I mean, part of it would be that if I went there, I would explore what comedy is like there. You know, it certainly probably isn't. It's like you probably couldn't have nearly the kind of political comedy we have because you'd be murdered. But you know, yeah, I don't know. I think a lot of it, you're allowed to be as homophobic as you want from what I've gathered.
It's like Eddie Murphy's Raw.
So that's good. Yeah, exactly. They're just inventing Eddie Murphy Raw.
He's just getting over there. It's a fucking it's like Deadwood of comedy over in Russia. Like now's the time to get over there and start
exactly the money that could be made from me doing. But I've never performed in Russian, though I would, I think, if I went there, do it.
Do you know how faggots like to touch men's penises where they pee? Good night to you! Sorry, by the way, I apologize for doing a Russian accent in front of you. That was probably very rude.
How good
it
was it, though?
You know, on a scale of 10.
Right.
On a scale that allows for no other numbers.
It's 10 to 10.
It is a 10, which I won't say how good or bad it is. The scale is a 10
At the
only.
same time, the best and the worst.
Exactly. See how sneaky I am?
It's a single-digit scale.
Exactly. Brilliant.
For effort.
So, what is there? What's sort of your process? I mean, like, do you have a specific process, or is it just like, do you sit down to write, or do you?
I do. I mean, I sort of do a variety of things. I'll sit down to write. I'll go someplace, like to a cafe or something, or walk around, or you know. I think I try a variety of things. I wrote a book, and when I did that, I'd often, which I wouldn't do for stand-up. Like I'd go like to some place, like you know, I went to like Seattle for a week, or I wrote somewhere. Like I'd go up to Amherst, Mass, a lot, and write there.
Why Amherst, Mass?
He's from Boston, so he's a mess.
I'll tell you. I'll be honest with you. At the time, my girlfriend lived there, and so I would go. But I would like go and stay for like a week, you know, as opposed to
Pretty boring there.
Well, not if you have to write a book. I guess it is if you want to stay out till 4 partying, but it isn't if what you'd like to do is hang out with your girlfriend and write a book.
That's right.
Then it's
All right,
perfect.
fair enough. Okay.
I also went to school there. I went to Hampshire
Oh,
College.
did you? Okay.
So I like it there, even though I agree it can be dull.
My experience with a Russian. To be fair, he was a Russian open mic comic.
Mm-hmm.
But when I was in college, I was in this stand-up comedy club where we'd meet once a week and help each other flesh out material, and then a couple times a year we'd perform in the dorms. And there was this one guy started coming to meetings. I don't even know if he was a student at UCLA, but he was in his 50s, and I feel like his name was Dimitri, and it was not Dimitri Martin. And no one could ever understand anything he was saying, but he would end all of his jokes with the word pussy. Like that was the punch where he'd go, and over here this guy is coming up to me, and I like, that's where the pussy! And he would really hit that word hard.
Would it work?
We thought it was hilarious, maybe not for the intended reason, but it was gorgeous.
Oh, that's so funny.
And then he stopped coming. I don't know if he's still.
Do you think he still does stand up?
I think yes, he's the pussy comic. He could be huge in Russia right now.
Huge pussy comic.
Huge pussy comic.
Yeah.
Which is different than having a huge pussy and being a comic.
That is totally different.
It's stylistically different. So what are you going to do for the show tonight? You're just doing a 5-minute set, which I'm sorry, you're just doing stand up.
No, that's all. I mean, it's not like let me do an hour.
I mean, are you reading letters, or are you?
I'm gonna tell a few jokes, like a few jokey jokes, and then I'm gonna show a little pamphlet that I received while I was walking down the street, and then I will do something involving little notes on napkins.
Excellent. So we were before I hijacked your writing story with Pussy Comic. Mm-hmm. We were talking a little about your process. So like what. When you're writing stand-up, you do sit down to write stand-up. Yeah,
I mean, and also, I'll sit down to write it, and then often I'll like go for a walk or something and think about it and mumble to myself, and then I'll write down what I've mumbled, and then, I try a variety of things. I think like I sometimes like doing only one thing, I feel stagnant, so I think I do a variety of stuff to write.
Yeah, and your act reflects that because you do a variety of stuff in your performance.
Yeah. And
do you feel like you're kind of getting to a point where you're going to shows and people are requesting stuff, or like?
No, I will say that No, I don't think. Rarely. Or people don't really request stuff. Though I always find that funny. I mean, I totally get it.
Yeah.
Why you would request a thing, but it's also like, it's a joke you've heard.
Right.
Like, I feel self-conscious about doing stuff I think the audience has heard.
Right.
But yes, I mean, on a rare occasion, people request stuff, but not really.
I mean, it's amazing. Like, you do all... You literally are, like, when I think about you and your comedy, I think, like, oh, he's not afraid to do any kind of anything to get across,
Right.
a funny idea.
Well, when I was in Amherst, a place some find dull, others adore.
P.S.
Which is on the billboard. I think.
Matt Myra loves Dave Matthews Band. So, you know what? We use that on a scale.
All right. Well, let's...
A scale of shit.
Well, Two on the nose, Joan. I'm going to have to give you a penalty, but 2 on the nose.
I don't want Dave Matthews listening to the most popular podcast and accidentally getting his feelings hurt, so I'm not going to talk about that.
But he might write a killer song about it.
He might.
A good hurt feeling song that'll turn into a 4-hour jam. And
Lyrically, it'll be terrible, but musically, it's fantastic.
But yeah, no, the violin will be good. When I was at Hampshire and did a show in the basement of my dorm, and there were no comics but me, and then like sometimes people who'd come from Boston that I'd met, I would try to just get random people who I thought were funny to like tell a story or do improv or whatever it was. And sort of in the thing that came out of that ethos was anything that I did that like worked as a comedy thing and made an audience laugh was fine. You know, whether it was stand-up or whether it was reading a letter or a fake diary or whatever it was. You know, so sort of from that, and then afterwards when I moved to Boston and did comedy there, it's still reflected in my act, where basically as long as it works, like as long as it's funny, it's fine to do. As opposed to, I think the stereotype of alternative comedy is like someone coming out with like a flute and making some noises and being like, "You don't get me. This is existentialism."
Like daring the audience to laugh at it. I dare you to laugh at this.
And that isn't, like, to me, it's just simply you're doing different stuff in alternative spaces.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, and but it's funny. Like, it's still comedy. It's not like it's obscure, like, references in art. Or, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, it's meant to be comedy. It's meant to be funny. So I think as long as people laugh, then it's fine.
Well,
Hey everybody, we are 10 minutes till show. That's 10 minutes till show. Thanks guys.
We're going to push it 5 minutes.
I love that. That's part of the ambiance right there.
Yeah.
I'm out of here in 10 minutes.
People on speakerphone. Jonah's out of there in 10 minutes. All right, well, so we probably need to wrap this up in a second so the show can start and we're not loudly talking back here during Jonah's set. But I assume EugeneMirman.com. Is there another site, or do you have a side blog? Or
just EugeneMirman.com, where I do have a blog and I have Twitter feeds.
Do you still have the baby picture singing?
I do. You can still click on it. I have like a blog, but also the baby picture is still there.
Okay, and then at Eugene Mirman on Twitter.
Yeah.
Well,
Exactly.
I'm glad we're friends, and it makes me happy to like watch people that I've known for a long time like really start, you know, like getting recognition and having people, because then I always feel like, yes, this is exactly what I have known, you know, and it's nice. It's nice, A, that I'm not an idiot, selfishly, and B, that other people are getting to share in that experience too. So thank you for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
Eugene Mirman's on Twitter at Eugene Mirman. Probably also on Facebook.
Me. Yes, I am on Facebook.
Are you LinkedIn?
I am actually on LinkedIn.
I get so many LinkedIn invitations. I'm like, no, I'm not.
I'm afraid of it.
I'm afraid of it too.
Well, how else are you going to recommend a graphic designer?
That's true.
How else will you find the right programmer for your...
We'll start hitting you up for LinkedIn content.
Oh my God.
Can you help me out here? I need
can't
data
wait
entry.
To get a bunch of weird business people.
I need a Pakistani app developer.
I need an HR person.
I actually do need an H&R. I need to fire people in the audience gently.
So it's not working out right now. You and Eugene are not on the same page, we're going to go in another direction.
Yeah. All right. Well, good night. I love you.
Thank you.
Bye.
All right. So we also we noticed in the room two chipper, very happy.
Yes, these guys are delightful.
Youths.
Yeah.
Peppy, I would say.
Peppier than normal.
Yeah.
Extra peppy. Little.
What's your guys' secret? Why are you so happy?
Oh boy, we're just we take a drug called Sunshine in the morning, and And the moon at night.
Oh my gosh, you brought bells.
We came ready to play, Chris. We're always ready. Put me in, coach. You know what I'm saying?
You're trying to. I think what happened was they heard the Tom Lennon slide whistle episode.
Oh yes, very
They were
popular.
like-
yes.
We love slide
We
whistles.
do love the
We
slide
really-
whistle.
It's a really fun way to make friends when you're out at an auto show or any sort
And
of.
auto show is real popular with the slide
The slide whistle show.
Something we
Slide
found.
whistle show. I'm also going to say just a fun way to whistle. You can do it with your face.
He doesn't even say who we are. I'm Gideon Lamb. Hello, Gideon Lamb.
Hello, is this right here? My
Yes.
name is Jeremiah
I
Smallchild.
don't think you don't have to get that
I
close
don't
to it,
know.
Jeremiah.
Okay.
This is God's Pottery.
Hello, listeners.
Hello, listeners.
Hello, America.
Hello, downloaders.
Hello,
A group of
world.
a couple of Christian youths that we saw. They were playing some songs outside, and we said, "Hey, you guys should come in and
So nice of you.
and be a part of the podcast."
Thank
Yeah,
you.
we're really thrilled to be a part of it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, we're pretty
great.
jazzed. we're it's like the radio from space.
It is like space radio. Yeah. It's like space radio, but it's not live, so no one can actually hear you right now. I mean, they
Okay.
can when they hear this.
Okay.
But I mean, right now, this is not being piped out live.
Slow down, Professor.
I'm sorry. No, I get a little ahead of myself. I like the nerdy stuff, but so do we have just a little bit of backstory on you guys? Like, what are you?
You know what? We are old friends. We are from the Midwest.
I've been to there.
Sure. Yeah.
Great.
And we, we were friends for life, really. We both went to Christ Our Leader College. I majored in non-contact sports, and
I majored in Christian practicality in the everyday, every day.
yeah, and just our love of singing and strumming, and
Where is Christ Our Leader College?
it's in the Midwest.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you've probably played there. You guys have probably played.
Probably not unlike Your Town, USA.
I've never
Are
been
you?
there.
Are you guys a couple? Or are you
We're
together?
a couple of fun guys.
We're a couple of laugh
You know what,
smilers.
he's asking whether about our homosexualness.
frequent
No,
misconception.
we are not. We are not.
No, sir.
We are not in that way. What we are two bachelors who just love women, and we
But your
love
T-shirt
women.
does say "Virginity Rocks."
Well, it does, and I do subscribe to that belief.
Those are not mutually exclusive.
Look, we love women. We love the idea of being with a woman abstractly, and we love women so much that we are not willing to settle. We are waiting for Mrs. and Mrs. Right, and if that means that we have to just keep living together in our one bedroom with the bunk beds and the cereal every morning, then that's just the way it's going to be.
What kind of cereal do you enjoy?
Oh, Raisin Bran. Well, we make it.
We make a lot of our own
make your
cereal.
own?
Yeah, out of twigs and acorns and stuff that we find. And
So
and,
the Lord provides you with cereal
Yep.
meat.
And we like to use goat's milk as well. So
Okay.
Wonderful.
yeah.
Isn't the goat an evil animal though?
In the wrong hands, it can be, but that can be said about anything.
But when
even
you use-
Jello or whatever.
When you use the goat's
Whatever.
milk, you are making the goat be giving. We're getting it involved in that dynamic of Christian giving.
do you remember the end of Star Wars when Darth Vader when he took off the robot hat and he became Anakin Skywalker?
I think
Do you remember that? There's
I
good
think
in
that might have
everyone.
been the end of Jedi, Return of the Jedi. I remember
That's
that
what I
part.
mean. The Star Wars.
Well, we watch all three straight through.
Oh.
So that's what he means.
So there's good in everything, even if there's a bad misbehaving goat. Maybe take off the robot hat.
Maybe take off the robot head and enjoy some of that satanic tit milk. I was wondering.
Inappropriate
I'm
language,
sorry, I
but
didn't mean
that's
to.
fine.
I
Especially
swear
for
something.
the-
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to bring the mood down. But,
The internet's open to anybody, I guess.
I notice you have a book there. You guys have.
yeah, we're very proud of this book we wrote recently. It's called "What Would God's Pottery Do?"
The subtitle: The Ultimate Guide to Surviving Your Teens and/or Being Successful.
Exclamation point.
Exclamation point!
Yeah.
There are a lot of exclamation points in this book.
I'll bet.
Your faces look like exclamation points.
Oh, thank you.
Actually,
Actually, a compliment.
no, you're actually wearing the same outfits that you're wearing on the cover as well. That's,
Yeah, it's kind of our go-to uniform. Wear it pretty much all around town. We do have different outfits. We've got sleepwear we like to wear.
Yeah,
Jeremiah had a lovely woman made him sleepwear in the style of his tricolored shirt. So
Yeah,
Great.
We have photos of that in the book, actually.
Hey, you guys wear sandals. Is that a nod to
The big man, that's right. Yeah, J-Dog.
Well, it started as a nod to the big man, and then I discovered that everyone should use the big toe loop. I mean, it's just such a great way to control your sandal. And Jeremiah goes.
For me, I like the socks because you step outside in the autumn.
It does
the
get
socks
kinda
keep you
cold,
warm.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you not get cold wearing short khaki shorts and
No,
sandals?
I run
because
I
it's
run
literally
very
like
hot.
30 degrees
My
outside
body
in New York.
runs very, very hot.
Okay.
And I've just always it's the way he made me. So
So you're constantly running a fever.
You might be sick.
I don't know. I don't know. I get sort of flushed, and sometimes I see. Well, you know what happened when I was a child. This is actually when I discovered Christ.
Okay.
I tried to fly, as a lot of kids did after they saw the Superman movie, and I fell out a window and I landed on my head. And it was right after I landed on the back of my head that I started having these visions of Jesus.
You know, similarly, that's how time travel was invented.
Yeah, did you see a flux capacitor?
Right?
Well,
Were you trying to hang a clock when you were flying?
You slipped on the basin. No, slipped on the toilet. Hit
Yeah,
his
when he
head
came
on-
to, I came up with this.
Yeah.
I know that's
Doc Hollywood.
Yep. That's a
Doc
Michael Fox
Hollywood.
movie.
That was Michael Fox's
Michael
Doc
Fox
Hollywood.
before he began with his disease.
Now,
He's so brave.
He began
He really is.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think he took that on like a role. I think that may have just happened.
Well,
Well, he would make a great person with that disease, though, in a movie even.
I guess he
Sure, yeah. Who could play it better than Mike Fox?
I couldn't help but notice that you have a guitar, a left-handed guitar, actually.
Yeah, left-handed. It's a little. It's a sore spot for me.
'Cause
Left
that's
hand is the
evil hand.
sinister hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's.
Do you feel like that God has challenged you?
Yeah, he has. Jeremiah is trying to get me to learn righty, but I'm really not good at it, and there's a lot of scolding that goes on in our lessons.
I'd
So,
like to let him know that he was just born a little bit wrong.
well, okay, I'm trying my best. Someone's at the door. Sorry, recording a podcast in here. Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
That's okay.
Well, it's live entertainment here.
Sure.
Hey, look at that.
Oh, someone got a
Thank you
comics
so
hat.
much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, John.
So
John
guys,
from comics.
this is what you get when you start performing in comedy clubs. You get hats with comedy club names
Now
on.
make sure to tie
boy.
part of that. That would
Would I actually have to cut a piece of this off?
I would say cut off the back flap right there.
Well, the back flap is how I size it to my head. So I'm supposed to donate
well,
a
this
good
is all-
sizing to the Lord.
It's a donation to
Okay.
a greater cause. So
All right. Well, I'll tear this off and give this to. Now, how do I know I'm giving it to the Lord? Who do I just throw it in the air? and
Oh,
then it
just drop it in any
Drop
church.
it in a plate.
Yeah.
Sure.
drop
it in a
torn
church.
clothing in a church and be like, here's
Try
your.
to avoid the Catholic churches, but any church.
Oh, okay.
Sure.
All right. Well, I mean, I went to Catholic school, but I'm comfortable
Okay.
with that.
Well, that's wonderful.
That's a good
Oh.
start.
Good for you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thanks.
that's a good
Thanks.
start.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
I would love. I would. If you guys, would you play a song? do you
We
think, maybe?
would love
Sure.
to. We'd like to play a few songs because we do primarily sing about the issues. We are a youth-oriented outfit, and there are 3 songs that we don't get to play a lot.
Sure.
We thought we'd give them a shot.
And
here
you know what?
today.
Please.
The youth of today, they're into little bite-sized nuggets. Their attention spans are a little short. So we're trying to accommodate, to their taste while still giving them a message. It's sort
Okay.
of, a little bit of sugar in the medicine.
Yeah.
Please.
So,
what is this?
egg
What is
and
this?
milkshake.
What is this song called?
Well, this first one is for all of our friends, our Latin American friends.
Sure, yeah.
And they're good people. They I think Mexicans
Proud
are the
people.
leading exporters of smiles. And this is
They
a
put
song-
the ICANN in Mexican.
Oh, God, that's good.
These days, they're the leading importers of smiles with the way they sneak it in here. It's just.
Oh, I don't know. No,
we love America, and they do too.
I don't.
This is
All
a
right.
song we wrote to all of them, and it's called Congratulatinos. Here we go. And...
Ay, Jesús, tú soy mi amigo. Tú soy un amigo del mundo. We need you more than ever. So
there we go.
That was the whole song.
Yeah, these are all really short
just
songs.
short but
that we
sweet.
could just-
So it just said.
Ay, Jesús.
It's in Spanish.
It's in Spanish.
Yeah.
So-
Oh no, I get the other
It's in
language. So
Latino.
basically, you're
Yeah.
saying,
Yeah.
"Oh Jesus, you're my friend."
Yep.
Yes,
You're a
yes.
friend of the world, and we need you more than ever because there's a lot
that
of
part
trouble.
was in English, if
Yeah.
that sounds familiar.
But we say it with
Okay.
we need you more than ever.
we say
make
it with
kind of a-
their
Oh, you roll your
flourish,
tongue to make
their
it more.
pizzazz.
Yeah.
To make it more authentic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So and we another one here. Girls, women, girls and women.
Yeah.
We really support them in their cause. And
What is that cause? Would you say?
Well, just getting what
trying to
they
be equal.
deserve.
It kind of goes back
Yeah.
to original Adam and Eve, and
Sure.
Eve took the first
Yeah.
risk and kind of messed things up a little bit.
So you feel like that ever since then it's all like a lot of stuff. It's just women's fault.
They've
in
had
general.
they've had a lot of people blame them for more than they're responsible for.
That's right. And we actually wrote this song to let them know that they're okay. And in fact, the title of the song is "Women Are People Too."
Oh, good. Well, they'll be thrilled to know that.
Here we go. And we know it's been tough out there, just trying to get by. You made strides in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And no matter how many college degrees or careers you have, you will always be my pretty lady.
That's
actually
really
pretty
nice.
nice.
Yeah, that is.
Because
that
it's
is-
just, whatever they achieve or
Yeah.
don't achieve, boy, they're pretty
Keep on.
pretty to look at.
Keep on trying, because
Yeah.
you're always going to be pretty.
Wow, that's really nice.
That's a
to
really
say.
that's a really Swedish message.
What a nice nod to the glass ceiling, you know?
Yeah.
Did you find that when you guys perform that women are do you have groupies?
Sometimes,
We have had some difficult situations.
Let's
come
just
hang
say
out. Let's have a diet
yeah.
soda. Let's have a second diet soda.
Sure, and then let's
the
have a
bus stopped
second or
running.
third hug,
Yeah.
and it's like, hey, hugging's good, but
Yeah.
you've got to be careful
Yeah.
because, sometimes it's
How
a
long
gateway
does a
hug, and
hug
you're,
last
and then
before
you get into something
It
else.
stops being a hug.
Have you guys ever heard of the Christian side hug? It's
It's like you just hug next to
Yeah, so
somebody,
your
just the
genitals
one
are
arm, so your
great,
genitals don't face each other.
You kind of steer them out like a rudder.
Yeah,
It's a
Christian
great
side
idea.
hug.
That is a good idea.
I
Yeah.
like that, yeah.
Yeah.
We
That's
gotta
for you
remember
guys.
that.
Take that back.
Can we?
Yeah.
That could have gotten us out of some
Get it to the
difficult
Midwest.
situations.
Yes, indeed.
And also, it could be a new way for you guys to, hug each other in your own lives.
Oh, that would be
that there's
wonderful.
No,
Yeah, mix it up a little.
no friction.
Sure.
We're always looking for new ways to hug each other.
Is it not okay?
sure are.
Is it not okay to masturbate or anything?
It is not okay.
We don't have time to do that song.
Slam dunk on that one. What are you, Michael Jordan? You can shoots, he scores.
We're not going to do it now, but we do have a song called "The Beast with One Back" that's all about the difficult issue of masturbation. And
So if people wanted to hear that song, where would they go? Do you have a web?
Oh well, godspottery.com is where it's a good repository for all our stuff and
Your messages?
Yeah, and we're on Twitter and
Twitter, good.
God's Pottery is the handle, and
Yeah.
we try to just comment on the issues of today and pay homage to those who have passed.
We're also on Facebook, so if you want to just hang out online, check
Sure.
out some snaps, some photos. We're
How do you guys feel
on
about poking
MySpace.
on Facebook?
The Facebook poking.
It's a slippery slope. That's
yeah.
that's the problem we have. It's you start with one poke and then you got a super poke. We are poke buddies. Let's be clear about that. Jeremiah and Gideon are definitely poke buddies.
Sure.
But
really?
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. It's just a
Okay.
function on Facebook.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Wonderful.
Well, I think you have one more song that.
We just wanted to do
It's
one
a-
more. 'cause
it's a
we
cover,
wanted to,
actually.
We
It's
don't do only originals,
No,
and in
no.
fact, there's a lot of material out there that isn't that cool.
Yeah, well, there's a lot in the Christian canon, a lot of old carols, Christmas carols
Right.
and the like, that are just beautiful songs. But the kids today, it's a little old for them.
Yeah.
Right.
So what we like to do
You hear
is
some of those Christmas carols, and it becomes a snooze fest.
Yeah.
So you say, so we say, hey, let's wake it up. Let's wake it up.
Let's wake
a
it
little
up.
bit.
So what we do is we take the song and we put cool new lyrics to it.
Oh,
to
great.
make it sort of hip for the kids.
Yeah.
So this
So
is
like a Christian Weird Al kind of a thing.
Oh no, okay, but
But
our
not
work
weird.
is more
It's
serious.
not weird. It's more
Like Christian Al
Important
Yankovic.
Al. I'd say important Al.
Okay,
Yeah.
important Al Yankovic.
Yeah, and this one is, if you all are familiar with the song "Away in a Manger," which you should be.
Yeah.
We
This one's a
re-lyricized
cooler
that.
version of it.
Yeah.
Imagine if Jesus was a pretty cool fellow.
Yeah, check it out.
He is, though,
He is.
isn't he?
No, but in modern times.
But imagine like for
Okay,
kids
like a
of today.
goatee and a ponytail.
Well, just
What?
Hipster Jesus.
Exactly. Here we go. And away in a rock club that's packed to the max, the awesome Lord Jesus strapped on his sweet axe. The girls in the crowd all swooned while he played. The awesome Lord Jesus would surely get lots of new friends that night. And that's
what
really
it's
what it's about.
That's what it's all
Making
about.
friends.
Going to the club and getting lots of new friends.
And maybe side hugging somebody.
Now that was dangerously close to rock and roll, I think.
Well, we do like to live on the edge a bit. We like to rock out, not too hard, but
We grew up on some tough stuff, you know, Simply Red and Loggins and Messina. So we're no strangers to
This
some
is
of
a
the
hip hop
more.
song. What do you think about like current hip hop and rap groups.
We support urban music.
We do, and
we
urban people.
absolutely support urban people.
Well,
and
what urban people?
music.
What do you mean urban people?
Oh, just people who live in the cities.
People are very urban. You can tell.
It's
You
an
can
urban.
usually-
It's
I mean,
a,
we're
it's a
technically
vibe.
we're technically in a city, so we're all urban.
Well, sure.
Well, but
it's a
when you
it's
go
a fine
further
line.
uptown, like into Harlem, they
Sure.
get a little more urban.
It's
I mean, black
urban.
people.
Well, no, not just. I certainly look. Let's be clear. We have many black friends.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, the Reverend Wesley Treecrotch.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Just a wonderful man.
Sure.
Runs the congregation uptown in Harlem.
Wears a bright blue suit.
Just a
He's
powerful,
a-
strong
Oh, yeah.
man.
He's got a
with
great laugh
baritone
and-
voice. and just fills up the
That's
room.
awesome.
I think he played football in high school.
He
he's
must
a
have. He
he's
must
a
have.
big fellow.
Yeah,
and
you
he
wouldn't
is
wanna
a
get on
black
his
man.
bad side.
And a
He's
friend of
he's a
ours.
black man.
And his
Yeah.
blackness is not a big deal. So
That's generous.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
very generous.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you
But
guys.
we don't see color except for rainbows.
That's
if
beautiful.
we see one color, we see them all. That's good too.
All right, so you're a fan of rainbows.
We
Yes.
sure are. We get high on rainbows.
Do you feel weird that the homosexual culture has co-opted the rainbow?
You know what? It's okay. There's enough to go around.
Yeah, there are always new rainbows being made.
Well,
And,
so you wouldn't just share the rainbow because that's more of a spirit of
No.
love.
We would like to
Rain-
share it. But,
Rainbows are free. I think they're enough for everybody.
yeah. Can you share something free? I mean, that's the question.
Mm.
Yes, I think is the answer.
We always try to.
We do try to.
Well, this has been delightful, and I'm so glad I asked you
great.
guys to come in, and we get to help spread your message. And
Thank you so much, and
People
thank you
should.
for
well,
having
you
us.
weirdly touched my leg.
I'm
there.
sorry, I didn't mean for that to be weird. It's just
It was just
when we make friends, we like to grab them a little.
and now there's
just
grabbing
say
and shaking,
hello.
and honestly, the tip of your finger got really high on my leg that
just
time.
kidding,
Wow.
Chris. It's just a fun. Yeah, we just make up games. How high can I grab your thigh?
Oh, that's a good fun
rhyming
game. I don't know if
It's a
you guys
weird
do.
game.
You play that together? Is there
Yeah.
tickle fighting?
Oh, sure. We like to play Who Can Stand the Closest.
Yeah.
Oh, that's great.
We often play a game called Who Loves Jesus More?
Yeah.
Which
Oh.
can get a
little
bit,
heated.
yeah,
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
I usually win, but
Well, people should pick up your book, What Would God's Pottery Do? By Gideon Lamb and Jeremiah Smallchild, the ultimate guide to surviving your teens and or being successful.
That's
Maybe
right.
both.
Which
Maybe
is
you'll do
available in
both.
bookstores and I imagine on
Sure.
Amazon
everywhere,
and everywhere
on the
fine books are
internet.
sold.
It's available virtually everywhere and everywhere virtual.
So,
Oh boy, here we go.
as you any just a final message for the teens out there before we let you go?
You know, we got a show coming up here,
Yeah.
but if come and see us or just hang out, just keep downloading and having fun and just believe it.
And every time you smile, a boy with no feet can run a mile.
That's a gorgeous way to end the show.
I think so.
Thank you guys.
Thank you.
I hope we can give
Thank you.
feetless boys smile running.
Thank you very much.
The end.
Now leaving Nerdist.com.